Hello, every meowie. It's the last Purr's day of the month, so it's time for Warrior Chats. I'm Taylor Felicity. I'm here with Melanie Andrews and Zay. We are millennials who didn't read the Warrior Cats books as kids, but we're reading them now to see how it changes us. And this is the first episode that we actually have read one of the books. Last episode was a prelude, and we had not read the books yet, and now we're irrevocably changed. Mila, despite thinking they were not first, I believe is canonically first in chat. I got a notification that they redeemed it, so as far as I know, they're first in chat. Let's
They said they're thrilled.
You're, as far as I know, you are. Maybe you tried to redeem it twice
it again.
Yeah, you tried
probably
to
was telling you.
redeem it twice. So I guess let's just get into it because we have a lot to talk about. So our first segment is a little bit of pro-library propaganda because we all got our books from our libraries. So we wanted to take just a second to talk about what kind of medium we read the first book as, what that experience was like, etc., etc. As you already showed it, I just got the regular old book. And actually, I also already have the second book because my library was very fast, and I imagine they have 80 million copies of these books. So you're quick to get the holds. But what about you two? What was your method of consumption for this first book?
I also got mine from the library. I got the hardcover edition. I unfortunately have had to return it because multiple other people were waiting to read it, and we have like a couple copies of each book
Yeah.
in our system. So people still want these books.
They're
come on.
I
popular.
gotta read them. They're popular.
Do you think that anything that has to do with us, maybe? The resurgence?
It's hard. Look, I didn't notice that many people were trying to read them before this. So
Yeah.
That's
I
true.
think people want to read along with us.
That's true. Oh, I just remembered I don't have my other light on.
The community wants to follow along.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first episode of this has 44 views on YouTube, so that's pretty good.
We're famous now.
We're
so.
basically famous. Melanie, how did you read this book?
I got this from the library too, but I got it through Libby, and I did the audiobook for it. The audiobook that is narrated by McLeod, I think is how that's pronounced, but I'm happy to be corrected. McLeod Andrews, who might be a relative of mine. I don't know. I could,
yeah.
But they're very talented. They're very enthusiastic. I feel bad for you two missing out on hearing what these cats sound like. Particularly Grey Paw, his kind of annoying lispy voice. He's like, what's a kitty pet like you doing around in a place like this?
Oh, good.
And I don't know if it's in the book that like it's like, yeah, he's got a little lispy little voice. I don't remember that being part of the
I don't
narration.
think so.
I don't think so. Can I get you to narrate a copy of it? Because
Oh, yeah.
They're all gonna sound like this though.
better, even better.
Good. And hello, Killian in chat, who is a librarian, and said, I should have to hear Millennial takes on these books and get pro-library messaging. Truly beautiful. So glad that you're here. Also, speaking of pro-library stuff, I did put a link in chat. As you probably know, libraries are really under attack right now in the United States. So there are some things that you can do to help support libraries in the US. I put some links to, first of all, the ALA, which is the American Library Association. They have like some events and things like that if you go to their website to see stuff that you can do to support your library. And then there's also, I forget what this acronym was, but there's another library like support organization, and I found part of their website that had like take action now kind of thing, so like ways you can contact representatives, etc., etc. So do that because libraries are really important and we want them to exist. Because how else are we gonna finish this podcast?
And I would also like to have a job. So,
Yeah.
That's probably highest priority.
yeah.
The future of this podcast.
No, these books are the
Sure,
top
yeah.
priority.
But it's
Yeah.
a close second, right?
Relies
Close
on-
second, I would like to keep my job. Yeah.
Let's get into the book discussion. Melanie, you had something that you wanted to do first.
Yes, thank you for
cannot wait.
indulging me. So as I was reading this, also along with like listening to the audiobook, which was lovely, but it did lead to me not listening for stretches of time because I would only do so if I could pay attention. It wasn't just like having it happen in the background because I'm taking notes. And I would note down every season that would come up, every clan that would come up, and I would note every cat's name that was said because I was like, I just want to compile this. I'm sure there's a list somewhere, but I'm going to do this. So I thought it'd be fun if I read all of those off for you. Let's see if I can do this. Tiger claw, gray paw, patch pelt, tall star, dark stripe, runny nose, rusty and smudge. Lion heart, spotted leaf, blue star, barley, red tail, brindle face, mouse fur, ash fur. Rusty didn't start as Firepaw, but he was always yearning to catch mice he's learning. No, he didn't start as Firepaw. He was a kitty pet. Now he'd fight you, I bet. Golden flower, yellow pelt, small ear, dapple tail, one eye, speckled tail, blackfoot sand paw. Oak heart, yellow fang, frost fur, claw face, half tail, night pelt, white storm, raven paw. No, he didn't start as Firepaw, but he was always yearning to catch mice he's learning. Now he is known as Fireheart. If it's a bird, he'll rend it. ThunderClan, he'll defend it. And also Dawn Cloud, Dustpaw, Longtail, Gray Stripe, Crooked Star, Broken Star, Ragged Star. I can't take it anymore. There wasn't enough to do the full.
All right, pack it in. We can't top that.
And that's the episode,
Bye,
everyone.
That was great. Thank you for being here.
We actually don't
We'll
need Zay to do the book recap because that was pretty much it.
Who cares? Who cares now?
Oh my god.
I've been singing this to myself for like the past couple days.
Incredible. I like joked that you needed to do like a song version and then you did it.
Well, I said no at first because I was like, I don't think I got the chops.
You got the chops.
But then I couldn't. I was like, I thought of he didn't start as Firepaw, and I was like, oh, fuck, I gotta
Incredible.
I gotta do it. And also, besides me being shaky because I'm nervous, I'm also like emotional about that he's now known as Fireheart. So like, I'm really getting
a single tear.
oh.
Oh my god.
Maybe I'll try to record a more
Yeah.
clean version.
Please, I need that because I'm not going to hear anything else in my head for weeks now. It'll just be that.
Can I tell you, when I decided that I was gonna do it, I was like, ooh, I can't tell them anything. I'm gonna do a little treat for my friends.
Amazing. Now I know why you said right before we started, like, I'm nervous for some reason, and now I know why you are nervous, because you're doing the song. Wow.
Mel, you've done a lot of amazing things in your life. That might be number one.
Do you think so?
For the amount of joy it brought me.
Yeah. Really good.
Oh,
Incredible.
Head in there. I should have got
You
Fresh Kill in there somehow.
You could maybe version 2.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna only learn more and more cat names, and maybe I'll be able to do the whole entire song.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe
Oh,
you'll
we're
have
gonna
to add
expand it.
extra verses probably. There's a lot of names in this. Speaking of names, actually, for people in chat, there is a channel point redeem that you can do that is called Warrior Cat Name. If you redeem that, it will give you a randomly generated warrior cat name, which was accomplished by me having two text like notepad documents, one a bunch of first half of names and two a bunch of second half of warrior cat names. I didn't need AI. I did it on my own. So you can get
Well, how?
your very own warrior cat name. It was, I think it was Briar something. Briar Moss, maybe? Something like that. I can't remember.
Rose. Troll. Mila's name had a rose in it
Was it
somewhere.
Rose Briar?
That sounds
Rose
right.
Briar or Briar
Yeah.
Rose.
Yeah. Zay, Melanie, I mean, pretty much recapped the book with her song, but you
Yeah.
also have written out a book recap. So I'll throw it over to you to to tell spoilers for Warrior Cats Into the Wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
yeah.
you want to read that, turn it off now.
yeah,
We're gonna-
yeah,
Pause
turn off
now.
the podcast.
Pause now. Go read it. You can come back. This will be on YouTube. You can come back. So yes, last warning for spoiling this whole book. I tried to get this. I told the other two. I tried to get this short. It's not that short, so I apologize in advance. But there's a lot to try and fit in. So firstly, this book begins with 3 pages listing the various cat clans and all of their associated cats. They
Super
didn't do it in
helpful.
song form, so that is a failing. But then they put 2 separate maps after that, just in case you weren't sure if this is the good shit or not.
That is something that you miss out on with the audiobook. So
Oh,
This
you
is going to be
gotta
hard
have
with
that.
my light to really see anything other
Ugh.
than
ugh,
kind
I
of
love
what
the
you can
map.
see.
My inner child got so excited. I opened it up. I saw the list of characters. I saw clans. I saw maps. And I was like, I'm in.
Sorry.
Perfect.
I'm in.
Yes,
The actual.
Sorry, I was just
Oh,
going to
go
make a
ahead.
note about the maps. The first map is the cat map. So it has what the cats
Yes.
call things. And then the second map, which is kind of more... Oh, if I hold it back here, it's better. The second map, which is kind of drawn more in a basic way, is the human names for things, which I really liked.
Oh, that might answer one of my questions that I have. So
I
I'm
don't think it
excited.
does, but...
Oh.
But anyway.
I think it does, but I know what question that is. We'll get to that.
I'm so excited.
But anyway, the prose of this book actually opens with a prologue where ThunderClan and RiverClan have a fight over hunting grounds. And it is pretty brutal immediately. Like, it is page 1 or 2. They are scratching at each other's faces. There's like noses being clawed off. The fight is pretty quick, though, and the ThunderClan deputy Redtail calls a retreat. We don't see too much, but pay attention to this because it's going to be important later. We then jump to the medicine cat of ThunderClan, Spotted Leaf, deliver a prophecy from StarClan to the ThunderClan leader, Blue Star. The prophecy says that fire alone can save our clan, something that makes Blue Star very nervous, as all cats are scared of fire. From there, we jump to the youth of a kitty pet named Rusty, living an easy but unexciting life on a farm. While out hunting for fun one day, he runs into a few ThunderClan cats and manages to impress them enough during a scrap that Blue Star offers to let him join the clan. Rusty takes the night to think about it, but he doesn't really hesitate and fully commits himself to joining the clan. Blue Star renames him Firepaw, as we learned from Mel's song. About this time, the apprentice Ravenpaw and the warrior Tigerclaw returned to camp with Redtail's body, saying he was killed in the fight with RiverClan. A cat named Lionheart is named as the new deputy. Over the next couple of months, Firepaw trains with the other apprentices, trying to prove himself a true warrior and not just a kitty pet. While out hunting one day, Firepaw runs into a rogue cat from another clan, the Shadow Clan medicine cat Yellowfang. They have a very nasty fight where we get the absolutely iconic line, "You seem in an awful hurry to die," he meowed. This is chapter 7, y'all. This is early.
So good.
And we're getting this line. We're getting this already. Firepaw does win this fight, but can't bring himself to kill Yellowfang, and instead takes her back to the rest of the clan. He's punished for this for bringing a rogue cat back, but the clan does agree to take in Yellowfang. Firepaw's punishment is being tasked to feed and groom Yellowfang, but he has also taken on Blue Star's new apprentice. I do want to point out, I don't want to get into it too much, it's one of my notes, but like they do describe him pulling ticks and bugs off of Yellowfang.
Yeah,
That may
it's
not sound
gnarly.
like punishment, but it's gross.
Yeah, cracking the ticks with his teeth, which
Yeah.
is gross, but also I have like smashed fleas and ticks before, and it is satisfying to do.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, the descriptions of Yellow Fang were gnarly. It was like, oh, he like bites her, and it's like, oh, he tastes like, unclean cat or whatever. It's just like, oh, jeez, ugh.
Yeah, it is. They don't pull punches for a book written for children.
Yeah, they really
This
don't.
is fairly gross. Anyway, shortly after this, Firepaw, Ravenpaw, and Greypaw, three of the apprentices, get to go along with Blue Star and some warriors to the monthly gathering, the moon gathering once a moon between the clans. And here's where we officially meet the other three cat clans and some of their major players. Those clans, for those who are not aware, are Thunder Clan, River Clan, Shadow Clan, and why have I forgotten the
Wind
last one?
Clan?
Wind
Wind
Clan.
Clan,
Yes.
the one that wasn't there.
The one that
Yes,
basically
Wind
isn't in the
Clan.
books.
That would be why I forgot about them. But it is important. It is noticeable that Wind Clan is not there. We find out that this is because Shadow Clan has driven them out when Shadow Clan declared that they need the hunting grounds of all of the other cat clans. Wind Clan tried to fight back and was driven out. This leader of the Shadow Clan, Broken Star, is making these demands because supposedly the Shadow Clan kittens or kits are hardier and more of them survive the winter, so they need more food. River Clan almost immediately capitulates to this demand, but Blue Star refuses to give up any of Thunder Clan's territory, putting them essentially at war with Shadow Clan. Broken Star makes some threats, postures a lot, and also tells the other clans to beware of a rogue cat that killed some of their kits and was driven out, heavily implied to be Yellowfang. So when they get back to camp, Yellowfang insists on her innocence, and Blue Star believes her enough to let her stay with the clan. Blue Star also announced that she will be traveling to visit the Moonstone, a magical glowing stone that gives the clan leaders visions and wisdom from Star Clan. She'll be taking Tiger Claw, Firepaw, Ravenpaw, and Greypaw along with her. So they travel to a cave called Mothermouth, where Blue Star sleeps next to the Moonstone, with Firepaw helping to keep watch. I think it's worth noting here that Tiger Claw seems hesitant to spend any time in the cave and actually runs out to spend the night outside of it.
A real pussy.
I was just gonna say. I was gonna unmute just to be like, pussy.
You gotta be faster.
I know. Mila first in chat, Taylor first in pussy.
And I wear that badge of honor.
And
First
you
in
should.
pussy.
So yeah, Tiger Claw does not want to spend the night in there, but Firepaw and Blue Star do. Blue Star has a dream about the camp being attacked, and so they rush back the next day. On the advice of a loner cat named Barley that they meet along the way, they take a different route home and are attacked by rats. They're going to end up discussing whether or not this is was intentional or not, and we don't get a clear answer. So I didn't put too much in there about that, but supposedly Barley did not lead them this way. Anyway, during this fight with the rats, Blue Star fucking dies. We're like halfway through the book and Blue Star is dead. Firepaw tries to revive her, but she's out. She's not breathing. She's clearly dead. And just as they start to panic about what to do next, Blue Star comes back to life. It's been mentioned once previously that, just sort of offhandedly, that the clan leaders have 9 lives. This turns out to be literally true. This was Blue Star's 5th life.
What was it?
When they make it back to camp, it's under attack from Shadow Clan, just as Blue Star saw in her vision. So they all jump into the fray of another very brutal fight, including Yellowfang, who jumps to defend the kits. from Shadow Clan. They manage to drive off Shadow Clan, but Lionheart is killed in the fight, and Blue Star needs to pick yet another deputy. ThunderClan's deputies, that's not a position you want. That's
Yeah.
so much turnover. She, anyway, chooses Tiger Claw, who has clearly been angling for this for a while. His apprentice Ravenpaw is not pleased, though, and instead seems terrified. Yellowfang is invited to join the clan after helping defend these kits, and Tiger Claw names a couple of cats to be Blue Star's bodyguards. However, Firepaw later overhears him telling them that Ravenpaw is a traitor and that someone needs to take care of him. Firepaw spends a while trying to learn.
I was just sorry. I hate Tiger Claw so much.
Yeah, I think we're gonna agree on this. But yes,
imagine if one of us is like, I like Tiger Claw.
He's pretty cool. The beginning of that boo sounded like Miss Piggy's, like the way she does. Yes. You should get that as a sound.
Oh, I should get that as a sound. More Muppet sounds.
And a hi-ya.
Sorry, I did sound like I thought one of you had something to say or like was ready to quibble with us. Which please do if you have a quibble. Anyway, Firepaw tries to warn Blue Star about what he overheard Tiger Claw saying, but things just keep getting in the way, and he keeps
so frustrating.
One chapter he like literally forgets.
So frustrating. I was like, I'm gonna wring this cat's neck. What is wrong with you? Just say what's going on.
I tried to in this recap make it like just a factual recap, but my actual notes on this are but he gets distracted by sparring and forgets to tell her about Tiger Claw's plans. Eye roll emoji.
So annoying.
There's another one where I was like, he just doesn't tell her.
He's like, I think she won't like it. And it's like, of course she won't like it! But you have to tell her! People are fucking dying! All of your friends are dying! You have to say something.
The only thing we can do is we're gonna have to cross the highway, and Ravenclaw has to not be here anymore. The only answer. Ravenclaw, thank you.
Confusing.
So yeah, he keeps trying to warn her. Eventually Ravenpaw confirms to Firepaw that Redtail was not killed by RiverClan, was actually killed by Tiger Claw. An absolutely unshocking revelation. Again, I tried to make it factual. A little bit of starting had to come in. It's just very clear throughout the entire book. They're like
almost immediately
a little bit coy about it, but like almost immediately, it's like this story doesn't add up. And then, but they're
when Ravenpaw is telling the stories, and when they get to the gathering, and like only Firepaw puts it together that like that doesn't add up, and Tiger Claw's kind of like, all right, I'm watching you, Ravenpaw, and as if no one. Why is no one else thinking? Whatever.
I know.
Cats are not smart.
So, during training where he's not telling Blue Star about what's going on, Blue Star does tell Firepaw that the life that she lost to the rats was actually her 7th, meaning she only has 2 left. She lied to not worry everyone. She also spends a while talking about how valuable Tiger Claw is to the clan, so Firepaw just decides on the spot that he's not going to tell her that Tiger Claw killed one of her deputies.
Yeah.
Before this can cause any more trouble, however, some kits go missing, and the medicine cat Spotted Leaf is found dead. Yellowfang is nowhere to be found until Firepaw sees Yellowfang sneaking off. Blue Star tasks Firepaw with tracking her down because she doesn't trust Tiger Claw not to kill Yellowfang. So I guess he's super valuable, but she doesn't trust him at all.
Yeah.
And yet still Firepaw won't say anything. So Firepaw takes Greypaw along, and together they sneak Ravenpaw out of camp to go stay with Barley, the learner cat they had met before, where he'll be safe from Tiger Claw. After this, they eventually catch up with Yellowfang, who tells them that the kits were taken by a Shadow Clan cat named Clawface. And yes, every member of Shadow Clan does have a name like that. I am slightly disappointed we didn't get more of Clawface.
Yeah.
Because what a fucking name.
Clawface is like a
Linguini
Bond
tail.
villain.
Anyway, they go after they Yellowfang explains that Broken Star, the Shadow Clan leader, has been training kits way too early and sending them out to hunt and fight well before they should be old enough to, and even killing some of his own clan's kits. She was wrongly blamed for the death of some Shadow Clan kits and was kicked out. The three of them, Yellowfang, Greypaw, and Firepaw, meet up with a Thunder Clan patrol, and together they decide to team up with some of Shadow Clan who would like to see Broken Star dead to go back and take back their kits. They do agree to kill Broken Star, who has, as far as we know, 9 lives left, based on what he says. There's another big, rough fight. They don't kill Broken Star, but they do drive him off, though he does literally swear that this is not over, apprentice, as he leaves. After Broken Star and his few allies are driven out, Thunder Clan and Shadow Clan agree to a truce for at least the next moon, while Shadow Clan decides on a new leader. Yellowfang has the option of returning back to Shadow Clan or returning to Thunder Clan, and she decides to go back with Firepaw and the rest to Thunder Clan, where she is officially welcomed into the clan as the new medicine cat, taking Spotted Leaf's place. Firepaw and Greypaw tell the clan that Ravenpaw was loyal to the clan and died in the fight to save the kits, though Tigerclaw very clearly doesn't believe them. Firepaw and Greypaw are then graduated to full warriors, being given the names Fireheart and Greystripe, respectively. As Fireheart begins his vigil that night, he makes eye contact with Tigerclaw and realizes he's made a dangerous enemy, but one which he won't let stand in the way of his new life as a warrior cat.
Very well summarized. We all have a lot we want to talk about.
There's so much.
There's so much to talk about. I I feel like Melanie has something that she wrote in our outline that kind of goes along with something that I wrote, which is the cat clans are very cult-like. Like,
Yeah.
they're not allowed to question the leaders. Firepaw is constantly, like, being monitored and, like, not able to, like, talk or, like, constantly feels like he, like, can't say things. Also, like, not allowed to, like, have empathy for cats from other clans. Like, even when he just, like, runs into Smudge, his, like, friend from before, like,
I was
they're
gonna bring that
like,
up.
oh, you fraternize with this other cat. And it's like, who cares? That's a kitty pet. It doesn't even matter. Which, Melanie, I feel like kind of goes into what you kind of wrote some stuff about, like, the Warriors Code.
Oh, I guess it does. Yeah, like, I felt, and I don't know if either of the two of you felt the same way, but, like, the Warrior Code was sort of very vague. The only,
Yeah.
like, thing that they said explicitly about the Warrior Code was that don't eat until everyone else in the clan has eaten. And then everything else, they would just be like, that's against the Warrior Code. That's breaking the Warrior Code. But they weren't like, the rule of the Warrior Code is this.
I that's one of my early notes is I want to know what the full warrior code is.
Yeah.
And then, like,
Right
at
now
the
it's bizarre.
end, when they become warriors, they, like, commit themselves to the warrior code or, like, take the code or whatever. But we still
They
don't
don't
get,
say it. Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
a clear direction of what it is. Also on the note that they're, like, kind of cultish, which I agree with. One of my other notes is that early on with the group, it's like chapter 5, Firepaw suggests abolishing cat borders and just, like, sharing the space and working together. And they go nuts. They're like, fuck out of here with that, because apparently cat nationalism is good.
It's funny that they're that way, but then I feel it felt very much like they think of themselves as egalitarian, like in their own
Yeah.
respective clans, of being like everyone help and you take part and we're all equal, but also only the female cats primarily look after the kids, but they can be warriors too. But like,
Not if they have kids.
yeah, if they have kids, they have to stay back. I don't know. There's like weird, along with the cultish kind of stuff, like it felt like some weird sexist stuff was like woven throughout it, even like with the descriptions of the cats. The way that Spotted Leaf would be described, I'm like, oh my god, they're really laying on so heavy with her.
That was one of my notes.
She's such a fuckable cat.
The smell.
I think we all agree.
I have to talk about the smell because it comes up so often. I have it later on in there. It's clearly being set up to be a crush for Fireheart or something, and also to make you like Spotted Leaf because she dies at the end. There are 3 or 4 separate instances of Fireheart breathing in her scent. It's so descriptive. It's weird. Like she hands him some herbs and he brushes against her paw and breathes in the scent of her paw. And I was like, okay.
The scent of her paws.
I did like that though, because if a human did that, that would be weird. But that is how cats like bond and interact, is like with scents and stuff. So
sure.
I did like it, although I get what you're saying of like it comes across very strangely because it's like he's breathing in people's scents.
Yes. Not to deter us from talking about Spotted Leaf, because I want to talk about her more, but I was thinking about the difference of my experience of reading this book when I was younger to right now, which is when they talk about Firepaw breathing, sometimes they're like with his mouth open. Yeah. And I think as a kid, I wouldn't be able to, I'd be like, what the fuck are we talking about? But like knowing that, like, you know, when cats kind of like open up their mouth like that, like it's so that they can like breathe in more and smell more.
Yeah. I love when cats do that. Zay, I noticed you're not doing it.
What's up?
I think we're gonna get to this later, but I think I must be behind you on the metrics on the cat like metrics because.
But you could catch up right now.
Yeah,
I could.
Wow, you really are a kitty pet.
Yeah, it's true. What, have you been to the cutter already?
Logs off the call. Oh yeah, the cutter. That was really interesting.
I loved how they have different names for like things where it's like, oh, you mean like the vet? Yeah, the cutter.
But like, in their context, like literally the only thing that the warrior cats know that the vet does is like spay and neuter cats, so they just call the vet the cutter, and they're like, yeah, you know how that other tomcat in your house is like fat and lazy now? It's because he's been to the cutter. And Firepaw is like, oh yeah, he was different before. Which, I mean, I really respect the amount of like, this takes place in the real world and these are cats. And so, like, the things that they, like, talk about, I'm like, this is, like, so interesting that these, like, writers... Because, so Aaron Hunter is, like, listed as the writer. It's, like, it's, like, a bunch of different people who write these books. Like, a lot of, like, young adult fiction is like that. But I really appreciated, like, the details like that are like, this is how a cat would experience the world. And like, even the way that they talked about like the cat body language, like they would have like a cat like do a specific thing. Like, I think at some points they say like somebody like blinked slowly at someone else, which is like a cat thing, or different things like that. I really liked. And the cutter, it was that's also like page, I don't know, that's like so early on. It's the first chapter, I think. And so it's like, I'm imagining being like a, I don't know, 12-year-old reading this and going, oh my god.
Yeah. They really get into it right away. I was like, oh, I'm in, baby. Here we go.
Speaking of children reading this. One of my first notes is like how many kids identified with, at the time, Rusty,
Mm-hmm.
like this indoor cat with an easy life who is a warrior at heart, who
Yeah.
wants to be a warrior and
Yeah.
out there. I was like, I'm
Yeah.
just imagining so many 12-year-olds are like, yes, that's me. Like, I
Good
get it.
protagonist. A really good protagonist because like introduces us to the world, is like this outsider, so like things are constantly getting explained to Firepaw. Which really worked. And like you said, yeah, some like wish fulfillment for kids. It's like the very like I remember when I was a kid, I loved Muppet Treasure Island, and I would sing the song that Jim Hawkins sings like all the time, where he's like, "There's gotta be something better than this," and like you're just like washing the dishes at like your house and going, "There's gotta be adventure out there for me somewhere." So that's like a
Yeah.
these books are pretty brutal, but I could imagine reading them as a kid and really liking them.
Oh yeah.
This kind of stuff
Yeah.
doesn't usually bother me that much. So like I think for some kids, if you're like really sensitive to like animals being hurt, maybe not a good book series. But yeah, I would think if you're a kid who's not really bothered by that too much, then I think these are great.
Yeah, go ham.
Go ham.
Oh yeah.
Go cat.
Go off, Cat Queen.
Go off,
Clan
Star
leader?
Clan. Yeah, clan leader.
Slay.
So we do all have cats. IRL. If our cats were in a, obviously our cats are kitty pets. So we can't just answer that, oh, they would be kitty pets, because that's boring. What clan, or if our cats were in a clan, like let's say Thunder Clan, what role do we think they would serve? Like, would they be warriors? Would they be clan leaders? Would they be medicine cats, elders? What do you guys think?
I've got two cats. We've got two. I think the one's just stuck as a kitty pet. He wants to be outside so bad, but he's been to the cutter. He doesn't have the instinct anymore.
Yeah.
He's not making it. I'm sorry. Sorry, Jam. The other one, Mimsy, that's the heart of a killer. That is, she has the heart of a killer. She is a full-on warrior cat. I have seen her tackle bugs. I've seen the way she looks at birds through the window.
Oh yeah.
She'd be star hunter for a clan.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
100%. I'll try to go through mine quickly because I got 4 of them over here. 2 of them I think would be kitty pets. I think Goji, who's right here next to me, she's so scared of everything, and she's so soft, and she doesn't know how to exist. She's so scared of me, and she likes me, so she wouldn't deal well out in the world. Marm has been to the cutter, and he can't do anything. He's useless. He's a useless little basketball of a boy.
Yeah.
I was outside today doing some yard work, and he was in the window, and he was like, meow, meow, meow. Just like he's not dangerous, he's not scary. He couldn't catch anything.
Mm-hmm.
Cardamom would be in that nursery all the time. She has not been to the cutter yet, unfortunately for me. And she wants to be a warrior cat. She wants to get out there. She wants to get pregnant. She wants to have all the babies. So she would, and she's a bully, so she would for sure be doing that.
Yeah.
Although Bobka has been to the cutter as well, I think she'd be an elder. I think she'd be an elder fighter. I watched that cat punch a bee before, so she would for sure. Oh yeah, Zay, haven't I told you about this?
Not punching a bee.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So the very first in the first year of us having her, Tag and I are standing in my parents' backyard watching this fat bumblebee just be like lazily doing its like just flying around, and out of nowhere she comes up and she's like, pow! She runs up and punches this bee, and it's like, whoa, man, and starts flying
Hell
away.
yeah.
So she for sure is a warrior.
Yeah. I just have one cat. I think Cece would be a warrior, but I don't think she'd be very good. I think she'd be one of the warriors, like, I forget which one it was that was, like, always complaining, like, that, like, hated Yellowfang and, like, didn't want Firepaw to be in the clan and was like, I forget what cat that was. It was, like, something tail or something. Um, I think she would be like that. I think she'd be a complainer. I think,
Longtail?
yeah, maybe Longtail. Yeah,
That sounds right.
I think you're right. Um, she would be competent, I think, as like she loves to watch birds, and if she was outside, she would be killing them left and right, and she kills bugs and stuff. But I don't think she's also very scared. But when she gets scared, she does bite and scratch. So I don't think she would be good at fighting, but I do think she has the heart of a warrior and would fight cats.
What do you
Yeah.
think her warrior cat name would be?
Oh, I don't know. I'll have to get back to you on that because I feel like it's important for me to get it right, and I don't know what it would be.
I was thinking half face for her for how
Oh
like
yeah, she does
with
have
her
like
coloration. Yeah.
Mm,
yeah.
But maybe that's
good.
bad.
Good.
It sounds like she's missing half of her face.
Yeah, it does sound like she's missing half of her face. Yeah.
Two face, and then she gets a little coin.
Yeah. Her name's Harvey Dent when she's a kitty pet, but then she gets named Two-Face when she becomes like warrior cat. You're laughing way more than that joke deserves.
Well, I'm just picturing like someone putting together like a warrior cat name would be like, Harvey Dent.
Harvey Dent. What are some other stuff we wanted to talk about?
I don't know. We have an outline in front of us, so I'm delirious with the possibilities of all the things I want to talk about.
You have a bunch now. There's a couple.
Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah.
also,
So let's
like,
talk about
wanted you to
Tiger
talk
Claw.
about.
Hate Tiger Claw.
What's his fucking deal?
He
Is it just
sucks.
power hungry? Is he working with Shadow Clan Hitler, or is that separate? Like, I don't know what his motivation is besides just trying to get to the top of the clan.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
I think that's it too. I didn't get the vibe that he was working with another clan. He is deeply stupid because he's weakening his own clan. So if he's not working with Shadow Clan, which, like I said, doesn't seem like he is, he is just not smart. Because he's like, yeah, I'll kill these other, I'll kill Redtail. I suspect that he had something. I don't think he killed Lionheart, but
I think he did.
I bet like he didn't like defend. Like it's gonna be something where it's gonna be like, oh, he could have saved Lionheart but didn't, or something. I don't know.
I think he took an opportunity and jumped. Didn't it say that Firepaw like looked at Lionheart's body and there was the bite marks in the back of the neck, like that had happened with Redtail?
Maybe. Yeah, so maybe he did kill Lionheart. I don't know.
Oh, it's possible.
Yeah.
We'll get into it later. Well, I guess maybe in like
Yeah. Like 2 minutes.
the first time I teared up in this book was when
yeah.
Redtail died, and we didn't even know Redtail, and I was like, oh. when they share. So when they first talk about like we share tongues, I was like, okay, let's calm down. But then when it like became like we share tongues with them one last time, I was like, oh
Yeah.
my god, that's
Yeah.
like so beautiful to have that. Like, oh, I don't know, it really moved me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It made
What do
the
you
ick so much
do? You
less.
think? Do you think Tiger Claw is working with Shadow Clan, or do you think he's just? What do you think?
I don't know. I thought there was a point in it where I was like, feels like there's something going on where like maybe Tiger Claw is working with them to like move the kittens over because it's like
Mm.
will strengthen his, you know, plot to get Yellowfang and Ravenpaw out of there. But yeah, it seems like that's not the case. But I don't know. I'm feeling nervous about where things are going to go in future books with
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, I hope he dies. I was so frustrated because the whole, like, from almost the beginning of the book, I was like, Tiger Claw killed Fire. Like, as soon as, or not Fire, Red Tail. I was like, as soon as they came back and like Red Tail's dead. I was like, Tiger Claw fucking did it. He sucks. He's mean. he's he's like a horrible cat. So the whole time I just kept waiting for this like Firepaw to fucking say something. Because every time Firepaw was like, we should trust Yellowfang, like Blue Star was always on his side. And I
Yeah.
was like, I'm so when the book ended and that hadn't happened, I was like, Firepaw, I'm gonna kill you. You have to say something. This is so bad.
When the book starts off with Star Clan giving the message that fire alone will save Thunder Clan, and so when Firepaw gets named Firepaw, I'm like, he's gonna single podly save this clan.
Yeah.
Um, but it's doing the my least favorite. It's not even a favorite trope of where like everything could be okay if everyone had the
Yeah.
information and you just aren't saying it. And you could say it right now. You could say it right now. You could say it right now. We're
Yeah.
having a moment, you could say it right now. And it's like this is not what should be driving the narrative.
Yes.
Will
Yeah.
all the books be like this? I hope not.
Yeah. I think I'm conflicted on it because I hope that the books do get more into how the clans are very controlling, and even ThunderClan, which is like kind of the best clan, is like kind of bad. So I'm hoping that that becomes like a bigger theme, because it was obviously a big theme with Ravenpaw, because Ravenpaw couldn't like say anything to anyone because he was like so scared. And that's kind of how it is for Firepaw slash Fireheart, that he's like too scared to say anything, or like doesn't feel like he can say something because of like the hierarchy of the clans. Um, so I am hoping that the books kind of get into that a little bit more, but I suspect they don't. I don't think that hierarchy gets criticized too much. Um, Based on like some
I'm
things I
very
know.
curious.
Yeah.
Feels pretty integral to the Warrior Cats world.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if there is anything that pushes back against that eventually, but
Yeah.
It feels so. I mean, like the way that Shadow Clan was like, we need to be able to hunt in all of your areas instead of just
Yeah.
like maybe a little bit of some of everyone's areas or just one other person's areas. Like it's
Yeah.
why all of them. So stupid. So stupid. And also,
Also,
they
why
took
don't
over.
they all they all just hunt in all their area? Like, I don't know. Why don't they
Yes,
all just
that
work
would be.
together?
yeah.
They all work together.
There's no
That would
reason
make sense.
given.
But also, they ran off the Wind Clan, so like they
Yeah.
had a full area of the Wind Clan. Like
Yeah, a
they
huge
have that run
area.
now.
Because I'll
Be
show I'll try to
satisfied
show
with what
on
you
the map.
have.
It feels like such a
So
forced, like in character forced resource scarcity.
yeah.
Like not the book doing it, but the characters being like, we
So
don't have
I
enough
think
resources.
like this whole area here, I think is Wind Clan. I think I can't remember where River Clan is. This is Thunder Clan.
I need to
Like,
come over so I
over
can look
here.
at this book.
Well, come over soon because I have to return it to the library.
Damn.
Or like, and I think this area here is Shadow Clan. And then I'm not exactly sure where River Clan is. I guess. Oh wait, no. River Clan is here. It says River Clan's down here, and then Wind Clan is up, like up here. So it's this
We don't.
big area.
It's huge. We don't get a lot of River Clan stuff in the book.
Yeah.
We don't get a lot of read on them, but
Hmm.
they're not painted in a very kind light. They're mostly made to seem like huge cowards, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and dishonorable.
Yeah.
Dishonorable cowards, yeah. Like every other clan other than Thunder Clan is like they all suck. They're bad. They're kind of evil. Except Wind Clan I guess we don't really know anything about, but River
I don't
Yeah,
Clan
we get
and
nothing about Wind Clan.
I said it in the
River Clan
chat.
just kind of sucks.
Yeah. I said in chat, but the name of their leader, Tall Star, that's the worst one, right? Of all of the leaders, the worst name. Like your description is that you're just an unsettlingly tall cat. I hate that.
wasn't it his tail that was tall?
I don't know. I don't remember what it said, but I just was picturing a very
Here,
tall
let me look
cat,
at
and I
the let me look
hated
at the
it.
description in here. Wind Clan Tall Star, a black and white Tom with a very long tail. Yeah, it says tail. Presumably he was
Which
called
means
Tall
his
Tail or something before, and then it's
Tall
like
Tail, which is such a bad Tall Tail. Come on.
A tall tail.
the names are sometimes not the best. I like the naming conventions, but it was very monotonous that so many of the characters were paw because it was dealing with these like baby cats, so it kept being like blue, but not blue paw, whatever their names were, dirt paw, sand paw.
Specifically Dustpaw and Sandpaw. I showed
Yeah.
those. I was showing Tag the list of the names, and they looked at those two, and they were like, "Surely that's the same cat."
They kind of
I
are.
was
They
like,
don't really
"Nope."
need to be two cats. They're
They're
both two other cats that are annoying, antagonistic,
little
kind of
Twiddledee,
Well,
Tweedledum.
like
well,
Crab and Goyle.
I have
Yeah.
I have one note on that
Oh, please.
because Sandpaw does stand out to me because Sandpaw, she's very mean to Firepaw for like no reason right off the bat,
Yeah.
and they're like just sniping at each other. And one of my notes was like, these cats are gonna fuck eventually, right? Like that's where this is going, right? Is
Damn.
like they
Notice
hate
me,
each other at
Sandpaw.
first, and then something
Enemies to
something
lovers.
happens. They don't like that doesn't continue throughout the rest of the book. That's pretty early when I made that note, but I was like,
Maybe.
I just feel like we're gonna get something there.
Now that Spotted Leaf
Firepaw,
is
I think you
dead.
shouldn't. I think you shouldn't. She's a shithead. I wouldn't.
Melanie, you had something that I think we should talk about in your notes as
Oh.
well about the food.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So I spent a lot of time thinking about this because I was hoping that at some point in the book, while I was listening to this, that they would make any of the fresh kill sound appealing. Like I know that it's vermin and stuff, but like, you know, when you read like Redwall or something,
Yeah.
like the description of food, you just wish you could be there.
Mhm.
This book did not do that for me. It was very much
Yeah.
just a lot of talk of big, juicy mouse. And it made me wonder if there have been or are currently kids out there reading this and being like, I want to get some fresh kill. Like, it sounds so good to me. Do we think that that's even possible that like somebody could?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
There's
I think
one
a
or two
human
out there.
equivalent. Yeah, because I do like a rare steak or like a raw tuna. I really like, and that is kind of like that's like the vibe I get from Fresh Kill is like a nice like rare tuna steak or like raw tuna chunks, and it's just like eating meat.
I just had a thought. You know the scene where Greypaw is trying to help Firepaw out by was gonna take some kill to Yellowfang, and he's
Yes,
made to eat it. It's very it's not unlike that one scene in Matilda, right?
Matilda.
Yeah.
It's the same, which is also
It's
about how like adults are horrible to kids and kids have no power. That's like kind of what this book is.
yeah.
But I worry they're not really gonna make a point of that.
Maybe.
Zay, did this
Maybe.
make you crave mouse? Fresh mouse?
It did not. I think I'm good on On that, I'll stick with being pescatarian for now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am the only like meat eater of the crew, so maybe maybe
So
that's
you
why I
did
was
want
like
mouse.
maybe I didn't want mouse, but I could if I was a cat, I would be like, yeah, mouse tastes good.
I'm a pescatarian too, and tonight for the occasion I did have tuna, so
That's what I'm saying.
getting in the mood.
Very
Getting
fitting.
in the
Very
mood.
fitting.
That's my fresh kill. Um,
Uh,
so
on
oh, please go ahead.
if I can just super quick on a similar note, not food but herbs. When they travel to go to the Moonstone,
Oh yeah.
Spotted Leaf gives them an herb that will make them like give them energy and make them so they don't have to eat for like a day or two.
Yeah.
What herb do we? Is this cat cocaine?
I was thinking tobacco, right? Because
Oh,
tobacco
okay.
curbs
That would
Oh,
make
hunger
sense.
and gives you energy, I think. But that's also kind of
I didn't think
crazy
about that at all.
because I think these books, I meant to put this in the notes. I think these books seem like they're set in England based on the animals that the cats talk about. Because they mention like badgers and foxes and like something else, but then there's other animals that are really common to the US that they don't mention, like coyotes are like not in the books, different things like that, like possums, like things like that that are like common in the US. And I looked online to see if it was ever said, and like the consensus online is people think that these books are probably set in the UK, which I only mention because I don't think tobacco, I don't know if tobacco grows in the UK or not. I know it grows in the US, but I don't know.
None of these, none of these cats had British accents though
In the
in the
audiobook,
audiobook,
yeah.
so probably not actually.
I would
Definitely
think
not.
Graypaw I could imagine with a being like, "Oh, you're just a little kitty pet, aren't you?"
I would have liked that better. I would like that way better.
With
He
a
just
little
sounds like
cap,
a big old dope.
with one of those
This is
little newsboys
okay.
caps.
This is one of Zay's previous predictions is that there was going to be a cat that we all didn't like that wasn't
Oh,
meant to be not liked. But I kind of don't like Gray Paw, just like a
oh,
little bit.
I liked Graypaw. I thought he was
Just like a
funny.
I
little bit.
I didn't have strong feelings on Grey Paw.
I was shipping Graypaw and Firepaw.
I mean,
Yes.
if it if it wouldn't go against the good of the clan to reproduce, they probably. I think they're not going to be supportive of
How
same-sex
does that doesn't?
relationships.
It doesn't
Warriors
seem like they're
can't
married
anyway,
though,
right?
huh?
Huh?
Like I mean, like the female warriors at least can't have kids and stay warriors. So like not reproducing feels like it would be a good thing for the warriors.
But they're only temporarily not able to be warriors, like while they're pregnant and then early when they're taking care of their kittens because they have to, nurse them. They aren't
Women
warriors.
be
But I think,
nursing.
but I think
I
apart from that, they are. Like I don't think it's like once you
I
have kittens, you can't anymore.
I got the impression. I mean, I think they do say that Blue Star had kittens and lost
Yeah.
her kitten, and then
Oh.
ended up becoming leader afterward. But there aren't, if I recall, very many like women warriors that we see,
No.
or she cats as
She cats,
Right.
yeah.
they are in the book, which is another phrase they could have done
Warriors,
without them using so
Tom.
often.
Yeah, that was I did hate that.
I get that there's not like a great equivalent to just Tom or Tomcat, but
I mean,
she cat.
queens. This queen.
Darkstripe is. Oh wait, no, sorry. Darkstripe is a Tom. Tabby, Tom. Willow Pelt is
Frostfur?
a she cat. And Mouse Fur is a she cat. Frost Fur is a queen. It just says
She's a queen.
all it says is queens are she cats expecting or nursing kits. So I don't
Okay.
think I think once they're not nursing their kits anymore, once the kits are 4 moons old, I think they can go back to being warriors. Because wasn't Frost Fur one of the cat I might be wrong about this. Was Frost Fur one of the cats that went and raided Shadow Clan at the end?
You're thinking of White Storm.
Oh, you're right. I am thinking of White
Frostfur
Storm.
is she stayed back. She was the one who was like kind of accusing Yellowfang.
Yeah. You're right. You're right.
Yes.
I think it's really interesting that they don't have. There's no indication of who the fathers of these kittens are.
No,
Like, there's
which
no
might
familial.
go along with
Yeah.
like actual cat biology, in which like, I mean, like cats can have kits from multiple dads, like in the litter.
Oh.
That's why
Interesting.
they're in heat for a period of time, and they'll mate multiple times and have like, you know.
Well, then there you go.
There is presumably a lot of cat fucking going on off screen.
Yeah, I'm. Do we think that it's gonna? I mean, obviously, it's not gonna be explicit in the sense that there's not gonna be like porn, but of these cats. But do we think they're going to talk about the cats having sex in like in a PG way?
I think so. I think it'll
I
be
think
one
so
of those things where it's
too.
like they pair off and
Yeah.
like there's some sort of ceremony or like where whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I there's gotta be. I fully expect that Fireheart will have kids.
Yeah. I think so
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah. With dozens of different she cats maybe.
Maybe.
Zay, you have a part that I think, or a note that I think ties into what we're saying, which is the first note that you have in your section on the discussion.
yeah.
Section.
I was thinking about this as like queer readings of this, and like this series' importance to queer kids. I know like a lot of people who are, I mean, all of us are queer here. I know a lot of people who read this growing up who were also queer, and I think while the books themselves are not in any way attempting anything queer, at least not this first book, there are some real interesting parallels. Number one, you talked about shipping Greypaw and Firepaw.
Mhm.
There are a lot of like male friendships in this, male relationships, and not a lot of like male female. Like we have the hints at a crush on Spotted Leaf, but again, that's basically just talking about how much he likes her scent. He shows like no interest in her, like other than that. I guess scent is the equivalent of a physical attraction here.
Yeah. She's also,
We
I
do
think,
get a lot of,
described as being very pretty. They say she's a very
Yeah.
pretty
I think,
cat.
yeah. But we do get a lot just of the three apprentices, Ravenpaw, Greypaw, Firepaw, like wrestling. And I mean, this is what cats do, but like
Yeah.
it also is very interesting, I think, just having a lot of these like strong male relationships, these connections there. And I can see how that would absolutely like connect with some young kids. The other thing too is like the names. Cats get different names constantly. Obviously, when they become warriors, they get a new name. They get a star tacked onto their name when they become a clan leader, and like it is just instant, immediate. That is their name. We don't talk about the old one. This is who they are now. I was like, that connection to like trans people is really interesting, I think.
Yeah, I love that. I did spend a lot of time thinking about like how that's just not even a thing that any of them think about. Like getting a new name and not and be able to answer to it immediately when someone calls you it. I was like, could I do that if someone just named me something else? Like, would I know to respond? I guess if it was like just changing part of my name, I
Yeah.
suppose. But going from Rusty to Firepaw is like, I don't know. I guess he was very young, so
Yeah. He
Yeah,
was a
but
kid.
there's no hesitation there. That is
yeah.
just like his name now, and that's how they treat it. And then when he becomes Fireheart at the end, like
Ugh,
he's just
my
Fireheart.
God. Did both of you during that part where they get their warrior names just be like, "Oh my God, it's happening"? I gasped that they were gonna get their warrior names.
I didn't. There were other parts that I gasped. I don't think I reacted like that to the warrior names. I hate to say this, I was a little underwhelmed by Fireheart's new name because I was like, there's already a freaking cat that's Heart. There's already Lionheart. Have a new suffix.
New one.
Well, I thought they do Heart when it's like I don't know, like it says something about their character, like they're very
It does.
brave, like,
if there wasn't another cat that had Heart as the name, I would have probably thought it was cool. But I was like, you're just copying Lionheart. Lionheart died, and you're like,
Heart in River Clan, and like
so that's
it's
just
adding
like the
more. Greatest warrior. Like you're supposed to be like a really good warrior to get that.
Yeah, I just thought it was kind of.
It's better than Stripe. Gray Stripe? Who cares?
Oh, I kind of like Gray Stripe actually. It's not. Is it a sick ass name? No, but it's like pretty. It's solid. And if all of them had just like the sickest names, it's not even.
Yeah.
I don't think Fireheart is bad. I was just like expecting it to be like a totally new suffix that none of the other cats had. And then it was like, yeah, you got the name that like some other cats
Soul.
have. Yeah, yeah. Or like Firefighter.
Fire Dick.
Fire. Yeah, I was hoping it would be Fire Dick. Fireballs, because he still has his balls.
Fireball. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll write a letter.
Yeah.
I'll say, hey, whatever publishing company this is, change the name.
Come on. Get on it. We have so much more we need to do, and we have 20 minutes.
I know, yeah.
So let's power through it.
Okay.
The Moonstone. So we talked about how like things have cat names that for like the regular everyday human names. And I could tell parallels between those things, like the Thunder Paths being a highway.
Yes.
When they go to the Moonstone, I couldn't think of any sort of parallel to the human world. And I was like, what could this be? Could this be an underground like power line or something that is like emitting and that's why they feel weird around it, or what? Like, what's happening?
I don't know what it... Oh, go ahead, say.
So I also, reading the book, because I think you mentioned in your note that like you thought maybe this was due to the audio. Reading the book, same thing. I couldn't tell what this was. So this was the one thing that I actually did look up. I avoided any other spoilers, but I was like, I know they're graphic novels. How did they portray this in the graphic novel? Because this feels important. I should know what it is. It's a literal glowing rock.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Well, it only glows. There's a hole in the ceiling of this cave, and when the moon is in the right place, the light from the moon comes down through the hole and makes the rock glow. So it's not always glowing, but it is like a big crystal. On the map, the human name for the place where they go is called Devil's Fingers, and then it has in parentheses or brackets, disused mine. So the only thing I could think, it's obviously not a diamond or something because they wouldn't leave it there, but yeah, maybe like quartz or something. But I think it is magic because there is magic in these books. There is like these Star Clan, these like gods kind of. So...
Do we think Star Clan is like real?
I think so.
Yeah, that is.
Devil's Fingers is too hot. Mila.
Mila, I'm timing you out.
The devil did what now?
Yeah. Splash a little water on him.
You're telling me a devil fingered this cave?
Star Clan. The first instance I was like, oh, okay, so this is like their mythology. Like this is their religion, is that like their elders die and go up to the sky and become the stars and give wisdom. But there's magic. There's a big glowy stone. They get visions that are true.
Get
9 lives.
Yeah.
Like Blue Star. It's literal. She dies.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the fact that, like, so the leaders go to get these visions, these dreams. Spotted Leaf did have some dreams. Firepaw had a dream that like had the
Hmm.
dream that the clan was attacked before Blue Star even saw it. So
Yeah.
like, does it really matter to be near the stone because he already had the dream?
I wonder if it's a thing where like cat leaders can go to the stone to like seek guidance, but sometimes StarClan just provides guidance like
Mm.
unprompted. So if you are a leader and you go to the stone, StarClan will like give you a vision. If you're not a leader and you don't go to the stone, you might get a vision when you don't even want it. That's kind of how I took it.
I loved the stuff about the great clan cats. The greater clan cats, is that what
Oh
it was?
yeah, yeah, yeah. The
With like
lions and tigers
Lion
and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Clan and Leopard Clan and Tiger
Yeah.
Clan. Like that's dope. I don't know how these cats would know about, tigers and stuff, but like
That's the
I
other
think
thing. I
that's
was like,
great.
I think they're in the
Sure.
UK, so I don't like leopards and lions and tigers. I don't know if they lived there, but
Yeah.
Right. We get like we don't get a single other cat clan mentioned besides these four. So like these are the only cat clans that we're aware of. But they do know the about the existence of lions and
yeah.
tigers.
Despite having like no, it doesn't seem like they have like historian cats or like they don't
Yeah.
write things down. Like
Yeah.
presumably, I guess they could have like oral history, but that hasn't come up in this first book at least. So I
It's
don't
scent
know.
history.
Oh yeah, scratch and sniff.
Yeah.
Any other discussion things that we want to Zay, I think you had one other thing that you had that we hadn't talked about yet, which was if we've been spoiled on anything.
Oh yeah. This could be super quick. We can kind of talk about this as we get it to the
Just
rest of
yes
it
or
too.
no.
But like, are there? Yeah. We don't really want to talk about spoilers to spoil the
The
other
next
two.
books,
But
yeah.
are there things that you've been spoiled on, like in getting ordering the books or like
Hmm.
reading or doing any research? Is there anything you've been spoiled on that you're like, oh, I think I know about this?
I feel like I have done a good job of avoiding things, and I feel like I'm gonna get spoiled more as time goes on because I've trying to do research for tonight. I found
Yeah.
out a thing about Firepaw in the future, just from like you know it's hard to not be spoiled on certain things because like naming conventions change, and so like
Yes. Yeah,
you could
yeah.
tell a lot about what happens because of that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
So like,
Oh, yeah, like if you see an entry and it's like Firestar, it's like, okay, well.
well, yeah. I mean, that's exactly what
Yeah.
happened. Where I'm like, well, fuck. Okay.
Yeah.
Really, really
Yeah.
getting rid of any tension for me in the future about like who's gonna be the next like clan leader.
Yeah,
Or...
yeah. I probably could have
Yeah.
guessed that maybe at some point Firepaw would become the new clan leader, especially since we know
A
That-
kitty
Blizzard only
pet
has two
becomes a clan
lives.
leader.
Thumbnail. Everyone make their thumbnail
that one
voices.
that one definitely like felt like he's the
Yeah.
clear like main
Yeah.
character. But it was the thing, as soon as I started reading it, I think there are like chapters or series, or not chapters, book titles or series that actually mention Firestar. So sorry everyone, spoilers for future books. But
Dang.
hard ones to avoid. So in my job I've had to help people like
No
order
secret.
these books before, or
Yeah,
like
yeah.
stock them, shelve them. And so like we started reading, and one of my early notes was like, oh, Rusty is fire, whatever. And I was
Yeah.
like, and then as the rest of it became clearer, I was like, oh, okay. So I
Okay,
know where
this
this
is
is
that guy I've been hearing about.
going. This is that guy. I think he's
Okay,
got a bright future ahead of him.
I think we should talk about things that surprised us because we're running short on time,
Yeah.
and that's the next section that we have to go over. But I don't have to go first. Someone else can go first if they want to.
Okay. Big one is I did not think that Spotted Leaf was gonna die.
Same.
When it comes to that she's dead, I'm like, surely not. Surely she's pretending.
Yeah.
Like she was being so clearly set up as the love interest for Firepaw. I thought that was wild for them to do that.
Yeah.
I was surprised the rats in the field. I wasn't expecting them to
Oh,
go
yeah.
hard like that. And
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah.
at first I was like, I might be on these rats' side. Like these freaking cats are coming to their field. I would be pretty pissed. Uh, um, in a more heavy thing that I was surprised about, the amount of mental and emotional abuse that happens is not
Yeah.
something I anticipated for these books. The dynamic between Tiger Claw and Ravenpaw specifically is
So
so
sad.
upsetting. The way that he does these like whisper campaigns to like turn everyone against Ravenpaw and like
Yeah.
ooh, ooh, I didn't like it. The
Yeah.
way that even before we heard what the situation was, the way that Ravenpaw's body language was while Tiger Claw is talking to him sucks so bad.
Yeah.
And I did not see that coming from this book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I had one of the things that surprised me was this book was legitimately really good. Like, I was like, oh, it's probably gonna be like, I'm gonna enjoy it, but it's probably gonna be like, it's a book for young adults, so it's probably gonna be like written kind of like clunky. Like, there's gonna be parts that are kind of like kind of simplistic language, or like, and not in like a bad way, but I was just thinking like, oh, this is like not, I'm not the target audience for this, so I think I'm gonna kind of be like, oh yeah, it was like fun. But I was like engrossed the entire time. I read the second half basically in a day. I pretty much just read through the whole thing. I think basically after like the gathering, where Ravenpaw tells the story about like, oh, how like Oakheart died. I think from that point on, I was just like, I have to finish this book. I already talked about like the thought given to how cats behave. I thought that was like really good writing.
Yeah.
When they mentioned that Broken Star had 9 lives left and the other cats turned on him, I was surprised. I really thought ShadowClan was just going to kill him 9 times in a row.
I thought that too.
I thought they were going to rip him apart.
Yes.
I think that does happen to another cat, because I feel like I've heard about something like that happening where they just like keep killing the cat. It might be Broken Star that it happens to. I'm not sure, but I really
it doesn't
thought
happen to Cat Hitler. It doesn't happen to this cat, because like he says to Firepaw, he's like, you'd have to kill me 9 times. It's like,
yeah,
okay. We will.
We will.
Here we go.
It might still happen. It just doesn't happen in this book. But I was shocked that they didn't just like. I thought it was going to be brutal, and even though cats died, like I was also surprised that Spotlick dies. The books were not as brutal as I assumed they would be based on people talking about these books. Yeah. But also, I've read other books. Like I've read like Redwall, which I feel like is like pretty brutal. So I was surprised that it wasn't kind of more upsetting.
Yeah, it could have gone gnarlier for me.
Yeah. Like a lot of the fights would be like, oh, Firepaw like bit down on a cat and then the cat ran away into the bushes. Like that happened like a bunch of times that the cats just like ran away. So I was kind of surprised by that. But I think it probably does get more intense later. This is only the first book. Zay, did you have things that surprised you?
I think you all covered most of them. It's obvious from my recap, but when Blue Star did die to the rats, I legitimately was like, what the fuck is happening? And then the revelation that she does have more lives was
so
just
wild.
And the revelation that she only has 2 more. I was like, when she said that, I did gasp.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those legitimately did get me. I did not see those coming.
Yeah.
I also thought Broken Star was going to be killed at the end. The other one was I kept expecting Tiger Claw to make a move against Blue Star the entire book, and then he doesn't. So especially when Broken's like the moment with Broken Star where he runs off, I was like, oh, okay. This first series, this stuff I felt like it was like setting up is going to play out through the course of the series. Yeah. But like when they go to Mother Mouse, it's Blue Star, the apprentices, and Tiger Claw, and he's like
Yeah.
being real shady and real weird. And I was
Yeah.
like, he's going to make a move here. They're away
I
from
thought that
the
too,
clan.
yeah.
Like, this is where it happens. So the fact that Blue Star made it back to camp was actually surprising to me.
I thought that one of the cats was going to get hit by a car on their way back.
Oh, yeah.
Because they had the description of like them crossing to get to Mothermouth, but then like they kind of they paw wave it when they go like run
Yeah, they
back,
paw
right?
waved it. um, the next section we have is lines that we liked. I can go first because I have it open. And this goes along with what Melanie was saying about Tiger Claw and Ravenpaw. I really liked the way that the cats were like described, like their body language and their descriptions. I thought was very like evocative. So this is not really just one line, but it's like a little part that I thought was like setting things up really well, which is talking about this is Firepaw sees this. Then he noticed the small shape of Ravenpaw at the entrance to the warrior's den. Tigerclaw stood behind him. Firepaw saw Ravenpaw's ears flatten as the young cat flinched away from Tigerclaw's fierce words. The dark warrior loomed over him twice his size, his eyes and teeth flashing in the moonlight. And like just the like his eyes and teeth flashing, like I could picture that so perfectly of a cat like saying something that you can't hear in this like very menacing way. Like I could imagine it like as like a Disney or like a Don Bluth like animation, like
Yeah.
so perfectly. I
Oh
really
my
liked that.
god. If
Yeah,
Don Bluth could
absolutely.
do a Warrior Cats movie or series, I would be so happy. Oh my
Yeah.
god. I had a few lines, not like nothing huge, but like one of the first lines when Firepaw's being at Rusty at the time is being told like to make a
Hmm.
decision about either being a kitty pet or coming to live with them. He's told you cannot live with a paw in each world, and I was like, oh, here we go, here we go. This is the kind of language I want to hear. And another line that I wrote down that I didn't like so much as I found it very informative to Tiger Claw's mentality and like even just the society as a whole of how they view warriors. But he says warriors should suffer their pain silently. And that's not part of a warrior code. That's his opinion of how warriors should be, in the same way that
Hmm.
certain people have ideas of how men and women should be and like what
Yeah.
you should and shouldn't say. So, like, very toxic worldview just summed up in that one line.
Toxic masculinity.
You got
Yes!
it.
This is why I'm here. For this.
We didn't come up with a rating system beforehand, which I like, because we did all do different rating scales, which is what I was hoping would happen. So, what is our overall rating for this book? And we can just go in the order we're in the the outline.
Sure. I gave it 7 out of 9 of Blue Star's lives because it was good, but I think that we're in store for it to get even better.
Yeah, I rated it 5 out of 5 blue stars because I just enjoyed it a lot. I'm sure there are
Yeah.
other books that are going to be better, but I am as a star rating person, I just kind of am like, if I really liked it, it's 5 stars. I'm not going to beat around the bush.
Sure.
I'm not going to run into the bushes.
Yeah. You won't run off.
Yeah.
I gave it 3 out of 4 clans. One just kind of isn't there.
Yeah.
I thought it was very solid. It is stronger than I thought it would be, but I do think there is room for it to get like more interesting and a little better. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm on board though. I'm hooked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am on board as well. Okay, the next thing we have is we came up kind of together with this idea. So people might be familiar of like rose, thorn, bud as like a thing of like something. A rose is something we liked. A thorn is something we didn't like. A bud is something that we're like excited for or anticipatory about. So we have gone along with that as a purr, a sniff, and a hiss. So Purr is something we liked. Sniff is something that we're like interested in, intrigued by, and then Hiss is something we didn't like. And we could do this in the same order as well, starting with Melanie.
Sure. My purr was that I loved the alternative naming of time and places. The naming of the seasons, like just being based on how leaves are, is very
Yeah.
fun. Bare leaf, late new leaf, like that was really fun. The
So
characters, I loved that. Like we even talked extensively about like the different ones, but like Yellowfang, love her
I
with my whole entire
loved
heart.
I loved Yellowfang so much.
She's the best. She's the best.
She's so
perfect.
good. I loved her.
Sniff. So I'm not really familiar with Rosebud Thorn. I did Sniff as like a thing that could be improved. I would love it if the narrative wasn't fully driven by things being left unsaid.
Yeah.
It's my least favorite trope, like I said before.
Yeah.
Like I hate watching movies where that like everything could be solved if you just said the thing. Find something else to drive your narrative. So I'm hopeful that won't always be what the case is.
Yeah.
My hiss was the mental abuse from Tiger Claw. That was a lot. The Hitler Shadow Clan cat was a lot. Like literally having child soldiers and killing the kits, trying to train them up. And while we're talking about it, I would love an antagonistic force that isn't some dark shadowy group equals bad kind of thing. Like Shadow Clan, okay. Like why can't we be, like the true enemy, which is man?
Oh, maybe that's where these go.
The two legs.
So.
There's like 50 books.
Yeah. Some of them got
Maybe we go after the two legs.
It's got to be about the two legs.
Oh my god! I'm sorry, we're not to predictions yet. But if I just had the thought, if the cats don't kill a two leg eventually in these books,
that would be I don't think that's gonna happen.
I'm calling it now. I'll take that one.
Maybe an old, a really elderly person. Maybe
they've got 50 books. They're gonna kill it. They're gonna kill a two leg.
Okay. There's the realistic world in which they like, when cats will eat like a dead body. But what I like to picture is all these cats like in a trench coat stacked like in an alley, and like a bad guy walks in the alley and they like lean out, flip up the hat, and there's one cat there at the top, and then a gun.
That's really funny.
ThunderClan freaking coming through.
My purr is I loved Yellowfang. Easily my favorite character. We didn't really talk about her that much just because we haven't had time. I'm sure in the Discord, if you're not already in the Discord, spoiler embargo for episode 1 is lifted. So anything we didn't get to during this episode, we will probably talk about in the Discord channel. I'm sure I'm going to talk about how much I loved Yellowfang. I liked the stuff with the Shadow Clan having a real crisis that allowed Broken Star to take over and be a fascist. I thought I can understand you saying it as a hiss because it is a lot, but also I did like that this is a book for kids and deals with these like very real things. And so you can see how like a real crisis is like an opportune moment for like a bad actor to take advantage of this hierarchical system.
The premise of it I don't have a problem with. It's the fact that it's like, oh, the Shadow Clan.
Yeah.
That's like,
Yeah.
Make it be the Wind Clan. I don't care.
Yeah. I thought the world building in this book was very cool. Sniff, I want to know more about these other freaking clans. Apparently there's a Sky Clan, because we all got that as our result. Spoilers for, we took the Warrior Cat test and we all got Sky Clan. Not in this book. Apparently maybe only in one of the super editions or whatever. Also interested to learn if there's a reason why they can't all just work together. When Firepaw asked about it, they were just like, no! But then didn't give any reason why.
Actually.
We don't want to do that.
Cat borders are real.
Yeah, cat borders are real. And then my hisses, I kind of already talked about, but I wrote Firepaw, you fool. Why won't you tell Blue Star about Tiger Claw? I wrote that all in caps. Also, I hate to be a hater, but Fireheart is not as cool a name as I was hoping he would get.
That's so
Disagree.
interesting because I loved it. I was like, oh, that's so wonderful.
And that's fine.
I had a moment of like, oh, Fireheart, and then the more I thought about it, I was like, I really like that actually. It's just good.
You're entitled to your opinion. Apparently, it changes anyway, so it doesn't matter that much.
Right, yeah, we're who knows? Who knows?
Firestar cooler.
My Purr was the characters. Again, I also love Yellow Fang. Just absolutely, like, immediately I was like, this is my favorite character. She's great. One of the only characters with like nuance, I think.
Yeah.
Really, really interesting character. I also hope we get more in the next few books of Ravenpaw and Barley and like what happens there. I thought Barley was an interesting character. We only get it for a few minutes, but I was just like, I want to know more about him, and I hope we get to see like Ravenpaw come back and like what happens if he stays a loner. My Sniff. I really hope we get more lore explained too. Like we get a lot dropped, but also like they just kind of offhand will be like, yeah, you know, the Lion Clan and Tiger Clan, and it's like, what? How do they know about this shit? And then like there's a magic glowing rock, and they're just like, yeah, you know, the magic glowing rock that we get our powers from. It's great. I love it, but I do want more of it. I want more explanation. And then Hiss, we've absolutely talked about this, but the villains are just too cartoony villain. There's not a lot of nuance to Broken Star. I don't think I mentioned the recap, but he reveals that he killed his dad to become leader. Like he's just,
he
like,
does just kind of say, I'm glad I killed my dad. It's like, you didn't have to say that. Now they're gonna kill you for sure.
You're so
no one knows this.
This is on you.
No one even suspected it except for me, the reader.
Right. Even Tiger Claw, like, there's not a lot of nuance there. He just seems to like what power, so he's gonna be a dick about it, I guess.
Yeah.
And then the other one, I just hate the word kitty pet. Can we not? Can they not? Can we have another option? I don't like it.
Unfortunately, we're gonna say it a lot.
We're going to say kitty pet, and we're going to say she cat a lot. Because that's how we differentiate them. These cats are different. We have to be very clear, they are female cats. That is important to note.
Yeah. Sierra said it in the chat, and I feel like we should do this, where it's like, these are the regular normal cats, and then there's he cats.
They do call the other cats tomcats. I feel like this is a failure.
They do.
I think this is a failure partially of the English language, because is there a term for female cats?
Queens.
What?
Yeah, it doesn't mean that they are necessarily breeding, like that they are
in real life. Like you would call a girl cat a queen. I did not know
that. A tom is an unneutered male, and a queen is an unspayed.
I did not know that. Okay, shouldn't have been surprised. It's in the book. They do call them queens.
Queen.
I do, but specifically only the ones that have kittens.
Yeah.
And
then the other ones are...
I think queen would get confusing with leaders.
I think so. It makes sense that they didn't use queen because there are the leaders. Metrics. Melanie, you're up first.
Sure. So our metrics are as follows. Warrior cat name. No, I don't have one. I did, while thinking about the naming convention being descriptive word plus notable body part, have a little laugh about my own, like, being, like, mean to myself, and was like, dumb ass. But that's not my name. That's not my name. That's just...
a funny
just
joke.
Having a little fun. Cat presentation level. So we're a cat name. No. Cat presentation level. I would say a 1 today. I'm wearing my cat eye frame glasses today as a little nod to it.
Cute.
Cat mentality level. I would say I'm still at a 1 with that. I've been really enjoying watching birds this spring, specifically them making nests. I've found really soothing. I didn't mention it before, but I do hiss at Cardamom.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because she is such a cat, and I do it to try to deter her from doing stuff when she's being a little shit. But it's not
Yeah.
because I think that's. I'm not doing it because I'm like upset and that's how I express
Yeah.
I'm upset. It's because
You're doing it to speak her
she will
language.
Yeah.
understand that I'm upset. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that should be a 2 that I actually do hiss at her, but I'll leave
Yeah.
that to your discretion. Warrior level, I have at a 1. I'm still pretty fighty, but I'm not really doing anything about it yet. So immersion level, I think I'm still at a 1. There hasn't been moments where I'm like, oh, a kitty pet. So I haven't thought in those kinds of terms yet, but I know I'm well on my way. I know what's gonna happen. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah. I have warrior cat name no, cat presentation level 0, which is what was last time. I don't think I'm anymore presenting as a cat. Cat mentality level is still at a 1, still like naps, still like laying on the floor sometimes. Warrior mentality level is still 1, which is what it was last time. Immersion level, I think before it was 0. I did bump it up to a 1. I do keep calling my cat a pampered kitty pet and saying she'd never survive in the real world or the forest whenever I'm irritated with her, which is a lot. And Melanie doesn't know this. Zay, I think, does, because Melanie's on Blue Sky. This Saturday, I am playing a character in a Wander Home one-shot who is heavily inspired by Yellow Fang.
The best cat.
Yeah. So I am playing a character. It's not like oh, I made Yellow Fang like in this, but it's just like a cat character who has like I think a lot of themes in common with Yellow Fang of being like I'm playing the Exile playbook in Wander Home, which she was like exiled. Yeah.
So good.
Oh, so you're cranky and perfect.
Yep, I'm cranky and perfect. My character's name
where
is
are you playing
Star. It's going to be. When we do plugs, I'll mention a little bit, but it's going to
Okay,
be on Cat the Lore Mistress's channel. But I'll post stuff about
so excited.
it. Yes, I'm excited for that. Zay, what are your metrics?
Yeah, no cat name yet. I do think it is hard to avoid like ideas coming, not necessarily my own, but I look at my cats and I'm like, what would they call you?
Ooh, we should
I have
between now and
ideas.
next time come up with names for our own pets.
Yeah,
One definitely has one. I think the other is again a kitty pet, so he's a baby. For cat presentation level, I think I was at 1 last time. Has not changed. That hasn't changed yet. My mentality level, I can't remember if it was a 0 or a 1 last time, but it really hasn't changed. Cat mentality hasn't changed, but you know, there's a few more thoughts in there, like watching the cats hanging out in the window, and I'm like, that looks nice. What if I could curl up there with you? What if I did that? Maybe I should find a beam of sunlight and crawl into it.
You should.
Warrior mentality level still at a 2. But I'm gonna upgrade to like a 2+. I'm not like doing anything more, but I definitely did take notes on all of Fireheart's like attack moves. He's got a big flip move. We didn't talk about this, but he flips over a lot to knock cats off of him. He's got a signature move, and I was like, I don't think I can use this, but maybe if I ever get attacked.
When you say that you took notes, do you mean you literally took notes about it, or just like in the way of like mentally taking notes?
I don't know if I wrote them down. It down or not, but every time he did that, I think there were a couple times I was like, he pulls his signature move again. Like he uses it a lot. It's good.
I think you should do more flips.
I think I should stay alive. So yeah, maybe
you might
not.
have to do flips to stay alive.
Yeah,
I might though. That's the thing. And then the last one, immersion level. I'm gonna put it at 1. I have thought about the strays behind our apartment as a clan.
Oh, I love that.
since then. I'm like, are you guys, which one of you is the leader? What are your roles here?
That's
So
perfect.
it's beginning.
It's beginning. All right. Okay. We are over time, but I think we can get into this. Our clans, maybe we should just talk about this more in the Discord, because there's not too much to say. We all got Sky Clan. None of us know what Sky Clan is, because it's not in this book.
I think it's artsy and fun. I think
Oh,
it's the
okay.
best clan, actually.
They live in trees, it
Probably.
seems like.
That would make sense for being called
Oh.
Sky Clan.
Yeah.
I
wonder
guess.
if they live in
yeah,
a...
get in the Discord.
Yeah, get in the Discord, tell us what Sky Clan is, or actually don't if it's a spoiler. Predictions. I will say, prediction revisited. I think I said that one of us would cry. I didn't like fully cry, but I did get very choked up when Yellowfang protected the kits. I was very emotional about that, and like didn't fully cry, but I did have that stinging, tearing up thing.
I actually welled up with tears I got emotional in certain parts when Blue Star offers Yellowfang, like invites her to stay and be the medicine cat.
Yes.
For Thunderclan. I was like, it was like I didn't full on cry, but I got pretty. I welled up for sure.
That's when I was like, oh, that makes sense that Spotted Leaf died. I was like, oh, okay, this fulfills a narrative purpose that Yellowfang now can be the medicine cat, but yeah. I also, which cat will die next? I was really sure that Ravenpaw was going to die for pretty much the entire book. I just kind of kept waiting for Ravenpaw to get killed, but now he's with Barley, so I think he might be safe. I guess I'm assuming Blue Star is gonna die. It would seem weird if she only has 2 lives left, and then that's not a big thing. So I'm assuming she's gonna die sometime soon. And fingers crossed that Tiger Claw dies, because I hate that fucker. I hope he dies. And then
I
my
feel
last...
like that might not be till book 6 of this series.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I also have a prediction that at some point we're gonna say, hey, maybe we should do 2 episodes a month instead of 1.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I guess that could make sense.
We barely were able to wait a week to talk about this.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that I held off on finishing until it was closer to this, because I think I would have had a really hard time.
Yeah. Melanie, what are your predictions or predictions revisited?
Sure. I didn't write down what my predictions were before. I thought we had them somewhere, but I couldn't find them. I think what I did say in the Discord was I think that there's going to be some inter-clan relationships at some point. Very Romeo Juliet. We didn't get that this book, but I don't think that that's out of the realm of possibilities.
I really think that next book, just based on even the title alone, that is what we were getting.
Yeah, Fire and Ice. And we do have these 2 kind of scary looking cats on the cover.
2 cats. Yeah. I fully if it's not Ice Heart or
Ice Fur.
Something like that. Female, a she cat from another clan who smells really good.
Yeah. Disgusting.
I'm gonna start reading right now.
I can't remember what the other predictions were, but I was making predictions as I was reading this, which the first one I had was Rusty. This is back before he even got his name as Firepaw is going to watch Greypaw die someday, and I picture it being very the kind of in Forrest Gump watching your best friend die, kind of that kind of thing.
Yeah,
it feels likely. I was kind of surprised that he made it through this book, but I guess they could push it further. I feel like he's going to at some point. I made a prediction that I think that there's going to be lots of talk about pride. We didn't really get that in this book, but I don't think it's off the table that they'll talk about cats having pride.
I don't know what. Maybe because you capitalized it.
I probably capitalized it.
I was like, what are you talking about? Because month.
Cats are getting
Yeah,
the cats are getting queer flag pins.
Yeah.
yeah.
Sandpaw's like, I just don't think that people should do kink stuff at Pride.
Oh,
Sandpaw's like, I think
the
it should be a
heat.
family event.
The worst. The absolute worst. I also made a prediction that Tiger Claw is going to murder Blue Star. He was too curious about how many lives she had left, and he was he was being very careful not to emote during that. He for sure wants to kill her.
Yeah.
I also think that one of these cats is going to get hit by a car at some point because the thunder path is there. It's really. I'm surprised it didn't happen in this book with the Chekhov's gun of it all of just being like. Yeah, it feels like that's going to happen.
Yeah. Zay, do you have any predictions?
Yeah. I don't. Well, I called the one. I think I'm calling it. They're gonna. It won't be next book, but I think they're gonna kill. They're gonna kill a 2-legs at some point. I think it'll happen.
That's so crazy.
I want it to happen so bad.
I can't condone this prediction.
I'm calling my shot.
I'm sick of going hungry. Let's kill a 2-legs. Take over
I
his
think it's
house.
like a 2-legs getting in their territory and like mess them up, and they have to fight back. Like
I think it's gonna be like Animal Farm.
They have to ratchet up the tension for like 45, 50 bucks. They're gonna kill a 2-legs. I'm calling it. One of my other predictions the one I remember from last time is that we were all going to decide on a cat that just absolutely sucked.
Oh yeah.
I don't think it's necessarily happened yet. Like I think we all hate Tiger Claw. He is supposed to.
Yeah.
I mean,
But I didn't hate Sandpaw. I just thought she was kind of annoying. She's not in it that
She's
much.
a real shithead.
Yeah, but like
Shit paw more like.
Shit tail.
Shit tail. They would say dirt tail.
Oh, dirt tail.
Yeah, they do call it is dirt. Dirt tail. Oh god, I hope that's what she becomes. And yeah, I also agree. Like I said, I think in the next book there is a big like Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm excited for it.
I also like. I don't know if this is that much of a prediction or if it's just like already starting to happen. I do think I'm gonna like heavily ship Fireheart and Gray Stripe. Like,
yeah,
I support it.
I think that's gonna be my OTP. Like that.
You're gonna make the AMV of the two of them.
I'm gonna be watching them for sure.
I love that. I will say, I think I didn't say it when I was saying that I was annoyed by him earlier, but as soon as Firepaw tells him what's going on, and he immediately is like, "Cool, I'm there, I'm helping." I was
so
like, "Okay, well,
yeah.
I think I do like you now."
Yeah,
it's good. It's good.
Well, I unfortunately have a Monster Hearts game in 9 minutes.
Well, let's get out of here.
So it's time for outros. Do either of you have any specific projects or things that you want to plug?
Go watch Taylor tomorrow.
Not tomorrow. Not tomorrow.
Not tomorrow? What day is
Saturday.
it? Oh, wait,
Saturday.
Saturday. Yeah. Oh my god, today's Thursday. Yeah, on Saturday, watch Taylor on that stream. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna be over on the Lore Mistress's channel. I think it starts at I can't remember. I'll post it in the Discord for sure. I think it starts at 1. It is a charity stream. We're raising money for the Trans Lifeline, I think. I know it's a trans charity. I'm pretty sure that's the one it is. It's a really good group, and I'm really, really excited for it. So drop a follow over to the Lore Mistress because they're going to be doing a bunch of charity streams like the whole weekend. But especially come watch me play Star, a very sad, old, grumpy cat in a Wander Home game. And with that, well, kitty pets and warrior cats, that is our episode for today. You can find us online. I'm everywhere as Roll for Felicity. Melanie is Lemony Drews. Zay is Wild J Blue. Until next time, may Star Clan guide you and keep your eyes peeled for Shadow Clan warriors. Bye.